Hello everyone, my name is Cutie and welcome to Do All the Things on GDQ Hotfix. This is a show about 100%ing games. So whether it's all bosses, all collectibles, or all achievements, if it can be done, we're probably going to be doing it. Now you might recognize I am not the lovable Mr. Shasta. Unfortunately, he can't be with us today, but don't worry, he will be back for future shows. Now, I can't hope to fill his incredible shoes, but we're going to have a great time anyways. We've got a pretty stacked show here. We're going to be running Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, getting all masks. So you're going to be able to see pretty much a lot of what the game has to offer. I got a little bit of a preview in the warm-up. It's got some cool glitches and things you're going to want to see, so hopefully you stick around and check that out. But without further ado, I want to go ahead and welcome in our runner, Butterlord and Peter Morpheus. How are you guys doing today?
Good. What about you?
Doing great. Happy to be here. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about yourself, the game, what we can expect to see, and then we'll go ahead and I know there's a long run, so we'll get into it.
Yes, indeed. Oh, hi, I'm Butter. I've been speedrunning for a while, speedrunning Majora's Mask for a good handful of years now. This run, I hope you're ready to pay attention because after the first 15-20 minutes, there's a lot happening. There's a lot of action going this run. This run is, not quite 100% run itself, but getting all masks is basically doing every main quest in the run, I would say. All like the big stuff. So there's a lot that you'll see. If you're not familiar, then I hope it's exciting to see.
Awesome. Well, I know I'm excited to see it. I saw a little bit earlier. I can't wait to see the rest of it. If you want to give us a quick little countdown, we can get started.
All right. So on this screen, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck and have fun.
Thank you. And of course, I have Morpheus commentating with me, who is amazing at this game as well. I'm glad that you brought your main personality trait with you today. Oh. Oh, did OBS deselect your microphone maybe?
Looks like it.
Okay.
That's hype. All right, can I be heard now?
Oh.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Morpheus. I've ran Majora's Mask for about the better part of 3 years. And nowadays, I mainly run any percent, no major glitches, but I've dabbled with a lot of different categories, including all masks. And above all else, I love Mega Man.
That was a little joke that I just had running with Morpheus recently, which I didn't think he'd actually say it on stream, but I think we all like a little bit of Mega Man. I say that as I've never actually beaten a Mega Man game. I don't know if that's like a bad thing to say myself.
We'll work on it later.
If you're not familiar with the run, so the start of the run is pretty famous for having first cycle, as we call it, where it's kind of like somewhat of an auto-scroller where you just kind of like basically getting to where the run starts, essentially.
It is interesting in the fact that pretty much no first cycle is the same between categories.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different, like small differences between each category and what they want to do in the first like 20 minutes or so of the run. But for the most part, it is a lot of tech smashing and waiting out the in-game clock to strike midnight on night 3.
Yeah, since basically the goal of first cycle is after you become Deku Link, you want to become human again, and the goal is to basically get to the clock tower at midnight as early as possible. So we want to advance to night 3 as quickly as possible and have time running as fast as possible and as often as possible.
Chat would love to know how many masks we're going to be collecting today.
Yeah, and I'm getting
roll 24.
Yeah, I was like, actually, I'm not sure what the exact numbers like. I was thinking about that recently.
There are 20 normal masks that Human Link can put on, and then 4 transformation masks.
And
it's really 3 plus 1 because you get 1 for like 3 minutes, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. And one thing to note there is that, so for movement in this game, at least if you're playing as Human Link, if you're going just in a straight line for a very long distance, like there at the very start, usually you want to just do a backwalk, because just like normal humans do, Link, such as myself, walks backwards faster than he does forward. And for short distances, you should be doing rolls. We do be getting Goron Mask in this run, which is very fast. And so basically after getting Goron Mask, any instance where we want to be moving, you probably want to be Goron.
Yeah, typically the rule of thumb is if you have to roll more than 4 times as Human Link, it's better to backwalk, typically.
Yeah.
But enough about Human Link. We're not going to play as him anymore for like 15 minutes. Yeah, the TLDR for this game's story is the Skull Kid here has Majora's Mask on him, and his mask is super powerful, and the first thing he's going to do is steal our horse and then curse us by turning us into a Deku Scrub.
Yeah. I imagine this scene alone, probably pretty scary playing this game as a kid for the first time.
Especially with like all the motion blur going on with the Deku Scrubs in that cutscene, it goes pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. So let me tell you, if there's one thing that scares me, it's motion blur.
Super real.
Which, if I recall correctly, somebody was asking me recently, because this game on the N64 requires the expansion pack to be played, and I was asked, why does this game require the expansion pack when Ocarina of Time does not? And I'm pretty certain that the motion blur effects are part of the reason that the expansion pack is used for this game.
That wouldn't surprise me.
There are I know there's other reasons, but I'm honestly not certain on what the other reasons could be.
You've also probably noticed by now already, with all the text going on, we are playing on the Japanese version. There's a multitude of reasons it's faster besides just the text. There's a lot of version differences between the English and Japanese releases of Majora's Mask. There are some exclusive glitches on either version that make both very good for speedrunning this game, depending on the category. But typically, the longer a run is, the more likely Japanese will be faster, is like a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, and one interesting note there is you saw I collected some rupees there. That'll come into play in a little bit here. And one little trick incoming here, if I get it, it's kind of like you get it or you don't get it. There's a little piece of text here coming up on this next flower over here. Tattle normally talks to you saying something, but if you side hop in a particular way, like this, you can get into the flower and skip her talking to you, and saves about like a couple seconds, like 1-2 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's about 1. And now we're coming up onto like the first big trick of the run. This is a Happy Mask Salesman skip.
Yeah, which I would explain it, but I'm gonna focus on pausing real quick.
You want me to give you some quiet time?
Yeah.
All right, I got you.
Missed a frame or skipped too many frames. So yeah, that's kind of either you get it or you don't. But basically what's happening there is in this game, cutscenes require 2 frames to begin. And if you pause buffer and allow 1 frame to advance at a time, it doesn't allow cutscenes to begin. So the idea with that trick there is you go up the steps and there's a loading zone behind that door. And so you basically try to advance 1 frame at a time to get Link to touch the loading zone. And if done correctly, unlike what I did here, it will put you in the loading zone and skip this little cutscene with the Happy Mask salesman. But the good news is we get this wonderful cutscene of talking to the Happy Mask salesman now. And it's really not the biggest thing, but it's like any speedrun of this game that uses glitches, you will always be seeing people do that trick.
That trick is interesting too, and just in the sense of like, it really gives you a feel for how different pausing feels in different parts of the game. Because like, it's just usually not worth practicing that trick at least, because pausing is so different throughout every area of the game. Like grottos and the area around Snowhead Temple are pretty much lagless. Other areas are really laggy. So like, you kind of just feel it out on the fly, and eventually you get used to it, but it's pretty tough at first.
Yeah. All right, so basically our current goal right now is make it night of day 3 as quick as possible. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use this flower to enter the stock pot in. Since normally you can't enter the stock pot in until, on knowledge check, 10, I think?
8.
8, ooh.
I think 10 is the mayor's office.
That, I know that's 10, yeah. Yeah, so if you enter the top door, though, you can enter at any time. Unless asterisk, if you have room key, you can enter at any time also from the bottom door, but we do not have room key. So talking to her twice there advances it 1 day if you select the bottom option. So now, all of a sudden, after like 20 seconds have passed, we're all of a sudden on morning of day 3.
Yeah, first cycle is all about getting to night 3 as soon as possible. We really want to cut down the amount of time that's spent not on night 3, since we want to get to the clock tower as quickly as possible. Yeah, the main goal is getting to night 3 as soon as possible, and then after that it's getting magic and filling up our wallet with a lot of rupees.
Yeah. Which I guess a little low-key thing that if anybody isn't aware of this game's story is that at the start of the game, when our horse got stolen, our ocarina also got stolen, which is in that cutscene with the Happy Mask salesman. He's like, I'm pretty sure there he talks about like, oh, you've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? I could change you back if you had a certain item or something like that.
Something about like your precious item that was stolen from you.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Since I believe the lore is that the Happy Mask salesman originally had the Majora's Mask itself, and then Skull Kid just yoinks it from him at some point, and bad things start happening. So now that it is night 3, we are going to head back over here and grab the fairy, which we'll use in a little bit here to get magic. And also, normally, you cannot leave Clocktown as Deku, since all these guards are like, oh, you're a child, you can't leave here. But we explained backwalking is fast, and if you go at an angle against this guy, you can just backwalk and clip past him. And now we're in Termina Field in a first cycle state, which has no enemies loaded, but these bushes are here. And the reason why we're out here is, I can't get this bush. The reason why we're out here right now is we want to get to 99 rupees. And also there was that thing I mentioned earlier with we want time to be passing as often as possible. Anytime you go through a loading zone, time is frozen. So there is a silver rupee chest in the stock pot in, which we could get, but it's a bunch of extra loading zones. And when you open doors inside the stock pot in, time also freezes. So what you opt to do instead in this run is you go out here and just go through these bushes. And it is a little bit of RNG. Not run-ending RNG. There's definitely extra rupees that can be gotten that are guaranteed if the bushes aren't nice. But currently the bushes are being pretty kind.
This is looking pretty good so far.
Yeah. I don't know the exact values, but it's definitely just pretty random if the bushes feel like giving you green rupees or a blue rupee, which is ideal. Or nothing, which is also pretty fun, getting nothing from a bush.
I love getting absolutely nothing from an entire pile of bushes.
Yeah, usually...
It's a lot funnier than getting one.
I actually don't know if I've gotten 0 rupees from a patch.
It's happened to me quite a bit. But I think that's an any percent issue because it's just so first cycle heavy.
But the good news is, I got pretty good RNG, and these bushes here, they always give you rupee jobs.
Yeah, even on reload, so you can farm them for quite a bit of rupees.
And it's interesting, if you're able to break all of those bushes, I'm pretty sure if you break all the bushes at once, it drops a red rupee as well.
Yeah, I think with a charged spin attack, you can do that.
Yeah, so if you have like Gilded Sword or Great Fairy Sword and or Great Spin, it makes it pretty easy to do. One of the little many, just like little cool quirks in Majora's Mask of just small details you might not notice or might not be aware of.
And here's the magic meter we mentioned earlier. This is hard required to get the ocarina from Skull Kid. There's no getting around this.
Yeah, and it will be a little useful later in the game.
Yeah, magic has its purposes in this game.
Alright, so it's about to be midnight in game. So before we go to the clock tower, we're gonna deposit our rupees into the bank.
Yeah, we have this time-traveling banker dude. I don't think he's ever explained how, I don't think it's ever explained how this is just a thing, but if you talk to this guy, he'll deposit your money and it'll travel with you when you go back in time. And that's important for a couple of reasons. Mainly, this guy holds an upgrade for our wallet, which we need for one of the masks later in the run, and we also just want to have that money for the next cycle for when we end up buying the bomb bag. So money is like super important early on in the game.
Yeah. And especially buying the bomb bag is pretty essential, since explosives and N64 Zeldas are very powerful in a glitch setting.
Yes, pretty much as soon as we get the bomb bag, we will immediately use it to start doing some pretty wild shenanigans.
Alright, and right there, I totally forgot to even talk about it at all, but you might have been wondering, normally in Majora's Mask, to get up to the clock tower there, you have to do the whole quest of playing hide and seek with the kids, and then getting the Moon's Tear, and then trading the Moon's Tear, and then using that Deku Scrub's flower to fly up there. But there's this funny little thing called a gainer in this game, where basically if you go up against a wall and target it, and then you input a backflip, and then let go of Z for a frame, and then the next frame press Z again, the backwards momentum on your backflip gets transferred into forwards momentum, and it allows you to grab ledges that are normally too high for Link to grab, such as that ledge right there that we just grabbed.
I honestly forget that doing that is not the intended method because I've done it for so long now.
Yeah, you'll basically, if you watch any speedrun, you never see people actually get the Moon's Tear to give to the scrub to get up here. And now we are getting back that precious item of ours, finally.
This is unironically probably the most important item in this game.
Yeah.
There's a lots of things that simply just don't work if you don't have this item.
Mm-hmm. And here's Zelda, the only time in this game that you can see Zelda. So if you like Zelda, this is your time to pay attention to the screen and watch her teach us Song of Time, which is also very important in this game. Yeah, an interesting thing about why the ocarina is so important. So there's a thing in this game called ocarina items where you can use a bottle, and you'll see it later in the run, but use a bottle and you do a little trick where it allows you to basically play other items, such as your sword, as an ocarina. But let's say if you skipped getting the ocarina or you removed the ocarina from your inventory after being like out of the first cycle of the game. Let's say you get all 4 remains, get back to the clock tower, have Oath, play Oath to Order without ocarina in your inventory. It will not teleport you to the moon.
I'm pretty sure it just drops you in the middle of permanent field.
Yeah. Also,
yeah, there is no getting around like ocarina. You have to have that to beat the game.
and right there, we played Song of Time, and it basically asks you like, oh, hey, do you want to go back and like reset time and save your game? As soon as you hit yes, like the same frame you hit yes, you can reset your console. But you only have to do that on the very first time you Song of Time. Because the first time you do Song of Time, it forces you to watch all these little cutscenes of like just various like memories in the game of things happening. So, little time save.
And now we have one last batch of cutscenes to get through before the run really starts.
Mm-hmm. It's also very small little Japanese thing there up on the clock tower when I got the ocarina. So when you get the ocarina, get out of the cutscene with Zelda, and like you pull out your ocarina, and Tattle's like, hey, where'd you get that instrument from or whatever? After it gives control back to you, you're not playing the ocarina anymore, even though like you literally just had it out. So you have to hit the ocarina button again. But in the English version, they fixed that. And after Tattle talks to you, you're still playing the ocarina. So kind of a little like weird difference with this game.
I definitely lost like 5 seconds the other day de-rusting glitchless because of that. Because I just forgot.
Oh yeah, because yeah, little interesting thing is that any percent no major glitches, which is a pretty popular category for this game in recent times. It is currently being ran on the English version, so kind of interesting since normally, you know, for speedruns, typically you hear people say like, oh yeah, you know, play Japanese, it's faster. But not always. And if I recall correctly, I'm pretty sure the English version of this game does actually have slightly faster loads. Is that right, Morpheus?
Yeah. It's like, it almost feels like an entirely different game with how many changes there are between English and Japanese. Like they improved just like the loading times between areas. They changed a good amount of rooms in the game. Mainly the ones I can think of offhand are like Deku Palace Grottos and one of the rooms in Pirate's Fortress. Mm-hmm. They changed the way Zora swimming works entirely, it feels like. It's like two different control schemes almost, it feels like, switching between versions for swimming. And they even patched out power crouch stab, which we'll explain pretty soon when that becomes relevant.
Yeah.
Just lots of like small things that are very different that if you're not like totally experienced with the game could like throw you for a loop if you play the Japanese version, if you're familiar with English.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure something that you would never notice that's actually different between English and Japanese is that the silver rupee chest above archery in East Clocktown, it's like 1 pixel moved between versions. It's like ever so slightly in a different spot for some reason.
Moved in what direction? I've never known this.
I'm honestly not certain, but I remember reading that somewhere a long time ago.
That's really funny.
I don't think I'll need it, but just in case, I'm gonna do another quick little safety song of time here in case of things go really bad early on, just because the start of this run has some pretty important tricks. So in case of things go bad and I need to reset, we're just gonna create a save point in case I need to reset and go back there, so we don't have to watch all of the cutscenes we just watched with the Hat Mask Salesman and getting Deku Mask and getting Song of Healing.
Yeah, the main draw about this game is a lot of tricks are very heavy on explosive usage, and there's not really a good way to refill explosives.
Yeah. Especially like bomb chews. Bomb chews are not very common to get. You can get them from the bomb shop, and you can get them. I know there's a grotto next to Secret Shrine in Akana that gives you like a 10 shoe drop. But other than that, I'm not sure where else you can get shoes in the game.
Well, before we get to the trick-heavy section, do you mind if I do a couple of quick announcements?
Sure, go for it.
So many of you here are joining us from GDQ 2025, which is an amazing event, but do remember that Hotfix and GDQ run events year-round. So first up, we have Back to Black 2025, which is the upgrade to UBAF, and it will be live February 6th to 9th here on the Games Done Quick Twitch channel. If you're looking at your calendar, that's roughly 3 weeks, so it's coming up. Make sure to mark that, and that will be benefiting Race Forward. So you can catch all the action right here and support an incredible cause. If you type !BTB in the chat, you'll be able to see the event schedule. And if you want to find out more about the all-black speedrunning community, try typing !BAF in Twitch chat. And if you're extra crafty, prize submissions are still open from now until February 1st, so feel free to go ahead and submit those. And if you've missed any of our shows or events, whether it's GDQ, Hotfix episodes, anything else that we've had around, make sure to check out all the VODs on youtube.com/gamesdonequick. I'll throw those commands into chat, but I'll go ahead and toss it back to you guys.
All right. So as you can see there, we use Cafe's mask and talk to Anju and the Stockpotten, which sets off the Anju and Cafe quest, which is kind of like the big side quest in this game. And then we changed into a Deku scrub in front of her and maybe mortified her or something.
Yeah, with this banker here, we're going to be doing another trick here. This one is called Collection Delay. So typically, the way with wallets in this game, the way they work, you get them from one of two sources. You get them from either the bank or the Oceanside Spider House. But with some tricky text box maneuvering, we can delay this guy's text box after collecting the wallet from ever popping up, and that text box is the flag that the game sets to know if it needs to put the next wallet upgrade in the Spider House. So with that out of the way, next time Butter deposits 200 rupees total in his bank again, it'll give him the Giant's wallet upgrade later on in the run.
And then, I don't know, you can explain, I guess, hovering if you want to, real quick here.
Ooh, yeah, so Butter is going to be buying bombs, or bomb bag, which comes with 20 bombs and a bunch of bomb shoes here. And we're going to be doing something called hovering and mega flips. A lot of this involves using a trick called Infinite Sword Glitch, or ISG for short. Basically, if you have Infinite Sword Glitch and you're hovering in the air, it is impossible for Link to fall down while he's swinging his sword. Like, he can't, if you try to swing your sword off of a ledge, he still won't fall. So we're going to abuse this by taking or using the damage source from a bomb and shielding it, and then just climbing all the way up here to get to this owl that is out of bounds. Typically, you can see this owl from the stairs leading to South Clocktown, and it's supposed to be kind of like an immersion thing. It's like, whoa, the world is like really connected. You can still see the owl here, but this owl actually has some unique properties to it, unlike any other owl statue. Nice. So typically when you hit an owl, there's going to be a song that we get called Song of Soaring. Any owls you've hit prior will let you teleport to them at any time after you play the song. But this owl is very special in the way that it works, and I'll explain it a little bit more once we get Song of Soaring. What Butter does there is called a recoil. If you don't have infinite sword glitch and you just shield a bomb explosion right as it explodes, it'll give you a huge burst of speed, and you can use that to clip past the guard there. Now we have a Hess. If you... there's a lot going on here. Basically, you can use the invincibility frames on Link's roll to push yourself into the bomb, and that'll give you really fast backwards speed. And like you get to this grotto here, and now he's gonna hover up onto this root.
Try that again.
No worries. Yes. So this grotto is connected to every other grotto in the game on a single map, and that's really good for us because we want to get to Deku Palace as soon as possible to get Sonata of Awakening. So we're gonna be hovering out of bounds here.
There you go.
With some pretty precise hovers here. Really particular angle as well. And I'll be quiet here for this.
Angle was really far to the side. Just do one of those real quick. That's an early roll.
Oof, nice.
Easy.
Alright, that trick is very explosive intensive. And this is the big reason why Butter made that safety save earlier.
Where... what's going on right now? What is happening?
That weird camera from the unlock gave you such a weird angle. Is this the right grotto hold? Nice, it is.
I think a visual cue I was looking for, and it wasn't giving me the visual cue. That was super weird.
Yeah, so all the grottos are connected to each other. You just can't see them, but now we're all the way in Deku Palace. It's a really cool way to decrease the amount of overworld movement we have to do.
Yeah, that was a little bit scuffed, but it made it in there, which is the important part.
I was surprised the game gave you such a weird angle after you got to the top of that route.
Yeah.
It made things a little awkward for sure.
Yeah. And unfortunately, missed the door frame jump a few times too, so I had to get a little bit of a later cycle. But that's
yeah.
good. As long as we make it in there.
Yeah, nicely done, dude.
Yeah, I didn't have to reset. Feels good. Wasted a bunch of bombs, but the chew count is pretty good. We can get more bombs, but the chews, yeah, are pretty important, so I don't want to waste chews unnecessarily.
Yeah, like best case scenario, if you waste a bomb chew in this game, you can use a bomb to back it up, but sometimes you have to do things called like untargets where you can target a bomb chew, the frame it explodes. And if you fail that kind of just sometimes kills the run.
Yeah.
So you really don't want to run out of bomb chews if you can.
Yeah. And like in a setting like this, for like a marathon type run, there is like backups you could do to like collect more rupees and go back to the bomb shop and buy more bomb chews. But like in a normal run, you would never really want to resort to doing that, unfortunately.
Yeah, bomb chew mistakes can range from losing like seconds to multiple minutes, like at least 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And at that point, your run usually is just over on a PB attempt.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Sonata. Now we're gonna collect our next song, the most important song for any no major glitches run, to be honest, the Song of Soaring. This is like one of the biggest things that this game has.
Yeah.
In terms of like just movement, or I guess for this song it'd be the lack of movement because of how much it cuts out. Mm-hmm. So that hidden owl I was talking about earlier, that Butterlord hit, it lets, if you go to the pause screen and you look at the map screen, you can like place your cursor on any location you've been to. That's all fine and good, but that hidden owl will warp you to different points in the game depending on where that cursor is on the map screen. Mm-hmm. So, as an example right here, once this cutscene is over, Butterlord's going to pause his game and scroll his map screen, I believe, over to Deku Palace, and it's going to warp him all the way to Mountain Village in Snowhead.
Well, first, we're going to go to Great Bay, actually.
Is it Great Bay?
Yeah, first we go to Great Bay, which for Great Bay, if you want to go to the Great Bay Owl statue, you don't have to move your map cursor at all. It just defaults there for some reason. But after that, we go to Mountain Village.
I've got the any percent brain going on. But one of the main things that we want to do immediately starting off on the run is get our transformation masks. These give us a lot of movement tools to get even better items for Human Link.
Just gonna get that bomb drop there because I wasted a lot of bombs earlier. And we're gonna set our void point there. So now if we void at all, it's gonna put Link back in the water here. And what I'm gonna do, interesting thing on the Japanese version, to push Mikau here back to shore, you just have to nudge Link into him. Whereas on English, you go up to him and actually hit A to grab onto him, and like you are like kind of like stuck to him. So here we push Mikau just before when he would get up, and you do pull a bomb, back walk with it, and then on the last frame of Link having his hands up like that, if you hold shield and a cutscene item such as Ocarina or a transformation mask, it puts you in a state called time stop, where basically like cutscenes are kind of like activating in a way. Like Mikau was moving there, but it didn't force Link into the cutscene. So once I clipped out of bounds there and voided, it just finished Mikau walking since he takes a long time to walk there. And when I voided out of bounds, when I initially got to Great Bay, when I went really far into the water and Link just like voided and got put back in the water, that's where my respawn point got set to, so it put me pretty close to him. And now we're getting Zora Mask really early.
Yeah, way earlier than you're supposed to.
Yeah. There's a few instances of time stop in the run, which we'll see in a little bit here.
Yeah, time stop in general is just a very like useful trick to have on hand, especially with something as convenient as a bomb. Whether it's just like overlapping cutscenes or just like saving in-game time in case you need to make something and it's like cutting it pretty close. Mm-hmm. Very handy trick to have.
You can also actually really easy way to get time stop if anybody at home wants to go try. You can go up to any gossip stone and just pull Ocarina and instantly like mash B as soon as you pull Ocarina, and it'll put you in the time stop state also. Which that particular method you don't really use usually.
Mainly just for aliens, if it's really close.
Yeah. right, so now what Morpheus was talking about earlier, we're going to move the map pointer over to Deku Palace, which will, I honestly don't know the technical details, but it'll basically do something with the hidden owl and tell it, sure, let's warp you to the mountain village owl statue, because why not, I guess?
Yeah, this trick is super useful for getting to just areas you've literally never been to, just getting them to them really early, really fast.
Yeah.
So now we're here at Mountain Village, and Butter is going to do another Hess here. Just saving some time here with some movement. And we're on our way to get the Lens of Truth to ultimately get Goron Mask. Lens of Truth is hard required if you want to get Goron Mask. There's no way around that. And it's not super apparent, but our health is getting a little bit low. We're going to be doing something called a Death Warp in a moment, which will save some backtracking once we get the Lens of Truth.
Left ESS is hard.
Yeah.
I can't get it. All right, we're just gonna backwalk over there.
Yeah. Anytime Butter is doing these Hesses in particular, he's utilizing something called ESS position, which is it's just right outside of the dead zone of your controller, facing like left or right. And it's pretty not generous in this game, I will say.
Yeah.
It is not a large window.
Yeah, especially because the mapping for the analog stick on the Virtual Console version of this game versus the N64 version, the original N64 version, like the dead zone on Wii VC is much bigger, which also makes the ESS range a lot smaller as well.
Yeah, you have to push the stick pretty far out before it registers any kind of input on the game.
And so dying there puts us back to the previous loading zone, which is over here, and not the grotto, because entering a grotto doesn't count as a load zone, and I guess that cave is counted as a grotto, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's on the same map as grottos.
And here we're going to skip talking to that Goron by doing a precise angle and position to clip out of bounds and just jump slash into the loading zone.
Nice. Next thing we're going to be doing here now, because there is another mask for us to get besides Goron Mask, we're going to be getting the Dongera Mask. And to do that, we need to give this guy a rock sirloin. You haven't seen him yet, but he was near the owl statue that we warped to. And normally you're supposed to light up all these torches, and then the chandelier starts spinning, and then it's like, oh, I have to guess which one of these has the rock sirloin in it. But it is in a consistent position if you don't move the chandeliers. And Butter's going to be doing some mega flips here to get to the pot that the rock sirloin is in. And with a roll, it will break the pot, and the sirloin's ours. And Japanese trick, or Japanese exclusive here, Zora can pick up the rock sirloin. That was patched out of the English version.
Mm-hmm. And here we're going to see an instance of super sliding off of the sirloin to just get up this slope pretty quickly. So I did it here, and once I let go of shield, he picks up the sirloin. And now
Nice.
we're on our way with our delivery.
Yeah, so the way that works is you're basically holding shield and target, and once you time your roll, you're mashing A to initiate a pickup on the item. But the invincibility frames from rolling will collide with the damaged frames of the bomb, and that will push you all the way back in a straight line. And once you let go, is it shield that you let go of?
Yeah.
to pick up the item. Once you let go of shield, it will just instantly put the item in Link's hands. So it skips a whole lot of moving around the Goron Shrine to get up there.
Yeah. It also allows us to get the Lens of Truth and the Rock Sirloin without having to like go and get Lens, go and get Goron Mask, and then go back to that screen and get the Sirloin and then come back here. So it skips a lot of like backtracking you would normally have to do. Now, we're gonna get ISG off the snowball, and I'm gonna collect this bomb drop because that sounds like a good idea. And we're gonna.
All right, so Butter is gonna do some super precise movement here. He's gonna get ISG here to not fall off this ledge.
Oh, went too far.
Ooh, too far, yeah. So you're supposed to climb an invisible ladder on the wall, but that's a little slow. We're gonna climb up the side of the mountain instead with using ISG here. This trick can be a little finicky at times, but with all these like properly timed side hops, you can just get up here pretty quickly, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really fast. And so it raises the question, so you can get up here without Lens of Truth. You can climb the ladder without Lens of Truth also if you know the path. But if you play Song of Healing in front of this like Goron Shrine statue here without Lens of Truth, it doesn't activate the cutscene, unfortunately. So if it wasn't for that one little thing, you could soar here and instantly get Goron Mask, but unfortunately that doesn't work.
It's funny how there are two instances in this game where one exact thing is locked behind, like related to Goron Mask, like Lens of Truth is the only way to get Goron Mask, and there is a singular stray fairy in Snowhead that is hard locked behind Goron Mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be cool if all fairy rewards could ever skip Goron Mask, but that does not seem likely.
Maybe someday, but who knows? Alright, so we have our first dungeon incoming here. One of the categories where you actually complete the first dungeon first, that you're supposed to complete first, being Woodfall Temple. So if we move the cursor up to Mountain Village, or I guess Snowhead, I think it technically is on the map screen there. It'll take us to Woodfall, right in front of the dungeon, which is very convenient.
Yeah, main reason to warp to Woodfall and do this temple first is the bow is really important. That's just pretty much it. It is a very, very good item to have early on. There are just so many like good items in this game that you want to get as early as possible.
Yeah.
Between like the bow and the hookshot and bomb bag, like they all have their own like very useful applications to them.
Yeah, I know until I think it was a couple of years ago at this point that any percent skipped hookshot, but now it gets the hookshot once again.
Yeah, that used to be the case for a while. The trick that brought hookshot back into any percent will also be in this run quite a bit later, not until like cycle or so. We'll get into that when it comes up.
Oh, all right.
This backwalk in particular is just weird. Sometimes it's really easy and other times it's not.
Yeah. If you get a not very precise, but if you get an angle, pretty diagonal angle, and go into the corner there, you just backflip up there, save a little bit of time.
Alright, so Butter's gonna get ISG here off of this bomb.
Oh.
And this looks maybe fine.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
This looks close, but it might be fine if the angle is good. Wow, that was by like a pixel.
Oh, messed that up. We're just gonna void to get back up here.
Yeah. Oh, that brought you down to 1 heart. I might want to get a heart, maybe. Perhaps not. Let's see.
There's hearts by the bow chest.
Ah, that's right.
Or outside the room. Really? I'm surprised.
Yeah,
I think
that was part of the crit cam doing that, maybe.
I don't think I've ever had that scenario happen. Gonna be honest. With the crit cam.
I think it's happened to me in Pirate's Fortress before, and has killed my run before because of that. Yeah, whenever you get to beeping hearts in this game, the game gives you like a more cinematic camera looking thing, and pretty much every speedrunner hates it. It is only like a detriment to your speedrun in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's something like when you have crit health, it's like every 256 frames, it makes the link also just like change its angle and like just move to the side. So if you've ever wondered, like if you're just playing this game casually and you're at low health and you're like, why am I moving to the side? That's why. I guess to make it what Morpheus said, more like immersive, like he's, I don't know, all dazed and like staggered from being almost dead.
But we've got the bow. We also need to go fight Adala now.
Yeah.
There is no way around getting to the moon without the 4 boss remains and also Oath to Order. So we're gonna go do that right now, since we're already here. So we're gonna first climb up onto this pillar and clip into it with Zora Mask. So there's something about Zora Link's animations that make him clip into this pillar once he ledge grabs it. And then we're gonna do some mega flips to the boss room. The boss room is always loaded, or the load zone to the boss room is always loaded, so if you can find a way to get there out of bounds, then you can kind of just skip the whole dungeon. Nice.
All right.
That is one of the bigger like scare points in any run that does this trick.
Yeah, that is a big reset point of runs sometimes. Definitely part of the reason why I was trying to be so conservative with my shoes.
The like best backup you have for failing that is going back and getting the boss key, unironically. It is very rough to fail that.
Yeah. Also, I believe Morpheus mentioned it earlier in the run, but that was an instance of power crouch stab because they forgot to give Link's crouch stab a damage value in this game. So when you crouch stab, like if you, on the Japanese version, if you enter a loading zone and are human Link and you crouch stab without slashing your sword, it will do 0 damage. So, because it just takes the damage value of the previous damage source that you did. So if you jump slash there like I did, every crouch stab was doing jump slash damage, which allows you to kill a Dawa pretty easily.
Yeah, it's a very handy trick to have. later on we'll be like combining it with like Deku Stick, and Deku Stick does like double the damage of Link's Kokiri sword. So like bosses just melt.
Yeah, I believe a Kokiri sword jump slash does 2 damage, and a Deku Stick jump slash is 4 damage, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's right.
And there is a trick that I guess is relatively new-ish, but also not really, called Remains Escape, a couple years old at this point, where it basically allows you to grab the boss remains and not watch the Giants cutscene, which you could, in theory, do for a Dawa, but there's a little thing where if you don't watch the first Giants cutscene, it never gives you Oath. So you basically soft lock your file in that case. So you have to watch the first Giants cutscene for the game to give you Oath. Which, as we established, is pretty important in getting to the moon at the end of the game.
Yeah, ideally this will be the only Giants cutscene we watch in this run.
And another little like interesting thing with this game, when you beat Woodfall Temple, normally you're supposed to beat it as your first dungeon in the game. After this little like camera pan here, and we go back to Link, Tattle talks to Link for like 40 seconds or something like that. If you beat any other dungeon as your first dungeon, and then beat Woodfall as like your second, third, even fourth dungeon, Tattle won't talk to you there, which is really interesting.
It's funny how often Woodfall first is like just a thing, because like there are just the main time loss is like death warping and then coming back later, and then you have to play Song of Soaring again, as opposed to just like doing the temple immediately and watching this cutscene. It's like much closer than you would expect in terms of like time loss or save, depending on the dungeon you do first.
Also, let's see if we can get this trick here.
Ooh, I'll stay quiet for this one for a sec. All right.
All right.
Nice. That is a very, very, very involved cutscene skip.
Yeah.
With the Deku Princess. So there are some weird mechanics in that room. Like, I don't remember exactly why this one in particular is weird, but there are certain things you can't do in that room. I don't think you can like backflip or like random things or do side hops, and like there's a lot of restrictions that go on in this room. And that makes that time stop a little particular, because we still want to get ISG to cut down the grass in front to initiate the cutscene. So Butter gets ISG off of the first bomb, uses the second bomb to do time stop afterwards, walks into the grass, and then rolls to the loading zone and times a roll after canceling time stop to initiate the cutscene while taking the load zone. Is like the most brief and like easy to understand way I could explain that trick.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate. I think
I'm like way more accustomed to the version we do in 100%.
I'm also low-key a little behind on in-game time, so I'm actually gonna soar back to Clocktown just to get over there a little bit quicker.
Right.
Yeah, I think the little bit in the little mishap in the swamp gossips grotto at the start definitely lost a bit of in-game time.
Yeah, we've mentioned aliens at this point a couple times. This is like the big in-game time segment of the run. We have to meet aliens to do a fair amount of side quests, to be honest. There's a lot going on with that, because if we don't get the aliens bottle from Romani, we can't get Romani's mask from Kremia on the cart ride defense thing.
Yeah.
And then it's also convenient to do aliens right now because we can get the bunny hood in the ranch as well. So there's a lot that benefits from doing aliens right now.
Yeah, and the aliens are currently at the ranch right now.
They spawn in around 2:30, and if you leave them unattended, around 3:45, 3:50 in-game is when they succeed in stealing the cows.
So as you can see, we never got a powder keg as you're supposed to get up here, so you can do 2 hovers, switch to Zora, and he'll grab that ledge, and then you can just kind of like roll past here, and then boom.
That ledge grab is so funny.
Yeah.
Because it's not even a ledge grab, he just pops up while facing to the left.
Yeah, it's really... He also, if you were paying attention there, Zoralink made a Goron, like a weird Goron sound for some reason. Why? I couldn't tell you.
Oh, I forgot about this. Another reason to do Woodfall as early as possible. These aliens don't take damage from anything other than the bow.
Yeah.
I honestly forgot about that.
Yeah. Their only weakness, an arrow.
It's one of those things that like never crosses your mind when it comes to like routing, at least, or like thinking about routing until like you do it and you're like, oh, that's why we do this.
Yeah.
Then, so that's our horse.
Yeah.
We're gonna use her for exactly, I think, one thing.
Yeah, to get Garo Mask.
It's just Garo Mask, yeah.
Oh, I got the gainer.
Nice.
Yeah, a little fun fact also, this dog, he will look at what alien is closest to this barn at the moment, which honestly, I didn't know that until relatively recently.
He's a helpful little guy.
Yeah. I'm just so glad I didn't lose aliens. I was like honestly worried about that.
Something I've done way too often.
Yeah.
Butter, what are you doing? You're taking so much damage.
Uh-oh.
This guy. I guess I should explain it now because this is a weird thing to explain. Butter's damaging down so he can do a death warp for something called a day reset. And the best way I can explain a day reset is each day its own, like each of the 3 days, 24 hours are, let's say they're in their own little box, circle, whatever, time is circle. And whenever the game is getting ready to advance to the next day, advancing to day 2 or advancing to day 3, it'll say 48 hours remain, day 2, whatever. Once that cutscene happens, there is no going back to day 1 or day 2. But if you play Song of Double Time to advance time while dying, it will loop back to the first day or the morning of the day that you're on, basically. So you can, for days 1 and 2, you can essentially repeat them as many times as you want if you play Song of Double Time while either dying or at the very end of a load zone transition, like when the screen like fades to black.
Yeah. Oh, also, should we do the break now? Because it's been about an hour.
Yeah, this is
told.
If this is a good spot for you, we can definitely take a little break here.
Yeah, I just remembered that. I was like, oh yeah, aliens. We said we would do that.
All right, awesome. Well, everyone, here we prioritize wellness both for runners and for viewers. So we like to take a few minutes break every hour and a half. So make sure everybody has a chance to stretch, grab some water, grab some snacks, whatever it is you need to do. So we'll be back in a few minutes with the rest of this run. Hello everyone and welcome back to GDQ Hotfix. This is Do All the Things, the show focused on 100%ing games and categories. My name is Cutie and we're in the middle of an incredible run of Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, all masks category. We've seen some great glitches and some other things. I'm looking forward to seeing how this run progresses. So let's go ahead and bring back in Butter and Morpheus and take it away.
All right. On 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, so we just got off of aliens and saving Romani and all the cows. And now we're going to play archery on horse. And if anybody in chat wants to guess what time we're going to get, usually anywhere between the 20 to 30 second range to 2 decimal points. Maybe somebody will get dead on the money.
I'm going to guess a 24.
24? I would take a 24.
Yeah, 25 is like the last second in this minigame I will like not cringe at. About a 22.
I think that was a 23-2-1.
Nice. Yeah, anything higher than a 25, I start cringing.
Yeah. Ooh. 2 people in chat were actually really close.
Yeah, there's a few people in chat about, a couple milliseconds off there. That's some good guesses.
Yeah. Actually, anybody who's curious, you should look up a task of this minigame because it is just amazing. Seeing a task.
Isn't it like 6 seconds or something?
Yeah, it's insane. Also, I need to use the rest of these chews. So have fun, be free explosives.
Alright, so we're gonna be doing some what's called bottle duping. So Butterlord got rid of all his bomb shoes. He has 0 count on his bomb shoe count. And he's gonna catch these bugs.
If they want to show back up, that'd be lovely. They all disappeared the second I went over there. That is insane.
And if you go into ESS position and... Oh, first we're doing time stop. This is a very involved sequence.
Yeah.
With doing a lot of bottle duping and advancing the daytime to night. But Butter went to time stop, played Song of Double Time after releasing the bugs, and he duped his bottle onto his Deku Nut slot, which is important because it essentially gives him another bottle for free. And he's going to be doing the same thing here over his Bonchu slot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a very, very, very quick, high action, a lot of things are happening right now, so apologies if you're confused, but I hope Morpheus is making it make sense.
Yeah, we want more bottles for just collecting things and keeping them stored in general. Bottles are a very good thing to have in the 64 Zelda games.
Yeah.
And this happens to be the best way to do it, is just do it all in one huge chunk. I think this is honestly one of the most confusing things I've learned for a speedrun in this game, at least.
Yeah.
And we're doing one more time stop here because this will also act as a day reset once we start the Cremia cart ride cutscene there. So we started the side quest. Once we go to Milk Road during nighttime, we will re-enter that side quest later, which is convenient because we're going to be going there shortly after this minigame here.
Yeah, I hope y'all like some baby chicks. And I believe, QD, you had some more announcements to share with us.
Absolutely. There's always more to talk about here at Hotfix. Now, as I mentioned earlier, GDQ does have events year-round, so GDQ's next all-women and femme speedrunning event, Frost Fatales 2025, will be live from March 9th to 16th and benefiting the National Women's Law Center. So visit gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more information on the event, or use !FF in Twitch chat to check out the schedule. I'll toss that into chat here in a second. And if you'd like to keep a tabs on events and other things that are going on, make sure to join the official GDQ Discord and add the Hotfix role, where you can keep tabs on upcoming events, talk with staff, and more. So use !Discord in Twitch chat for more information on that as well. But with that, I'll toss it back to you. Thanks for giving me a little bit of your run.
Of course. Yeah. We're doing everyone's favorite minigame, collecting some baby chicks and making them grow into big chicks. To get
Have you ever let go of B during this cutscene here?
I was wondering recently if you can, and
you can. I would know.
I keep my thumb clamped down on that B button.
Yeah, I will. I'm pretty sure that's one of the few things from my Hundo grind that is just burned into my mind. The day that I let go of the B button on this minigame. I don't think I will ever forget that for as long as I live.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So, soaring back to Milk Road, it's time we get our Garo mask now. It's the only reason we learned Epona song.
Yeah.
You gotta challenge the Gorman brothers to a race.
Which I guess this is another part if people want to guess a time. Usually somewhere between...
A really good time, 46, 47.
Yeah. Yeah, usually between 47 to 48 to 2 decimal points is another pretty good average for this minigame that you'll see people get. Yeah, also another low-key thing, during that whole thing at the ranch with the bottles, at one point I dropped the bugs that were in my real bottle, and I put them into my fake bottle that I made over my chew slot. And that's important because later we need to buy a red potion, and you need a real bottle to buy a potion from the shop later, since it won't put it into a fake bottle.
I remember that part being confusing to me when I first read the route doc, because you immediately duped over something, and then it tells you to equip the chew, or to use the chew bottle to catch bugs. And I was like, why would I need to do this?
Yeah.
It's not apparent in the moment.
You had one person 1/100ths off on that decibel there.
That is insane.
That's ridiculous.
I think if I was Bob Barker on The Price is Right, I would at least give you a handshake for that.
So Butterlord is setting up a cutscene skip here. You get a consistent position every time you come out of that loading zone. So he's going to do 2 rolls and then immediately full stop himself using his shield. And once he holds the direction outside of playing Song of Double Time, it will immediately put him into this loading zone to skip a cutscene. Yeah. And now we're in the Cremia cart ride thing, defense words.
Yeah, and in-game time was kind of confusing the past 5 minutes because it's night of day 1 after we finish Aliens, and then we day reset back to morning of day 1, and then we fast forward all the way to night of day 2, and then we rewind back to morning of day 2, and now we're back at night of day 2. It's insane.
It's a lot going on. And we have to do it this way because the Gorman brothers will not be there to get Garo Mask if you complete this side quest first.
I'll shoot them again.
So like you have to do Garo Mask first if you want to do if you want to get Romani Mask in the same cycle.
Yeah. And now
And it works out that during that whole bottle shenanigans sequence that we can also initiate a cutscene skip.
And now we're just looking at the floor to reduce a little bit of lag. And because just gotta appreciate this fine wood texture that the game has given us.
The way that it just wobbles left and right.
But, I gotta give it to them. I'm pretty sure Link's hand, when you're holding the bow in first person, is way less blocky than Link's hand with the bow in OOT.
It might be.
I want to say it is, but it's been a while. I mean, you've been playing OOT. You should be an expert on that one, Orpheus.
I have been, but definitely not looking at his hands when I'm aiming for things. No good visuals there, unfortunately.
If it helps, I got a bomb drop.
Oh, nice. Always appreciate bomb drops.
And I talked to that guy. Also, small tech, if you jump slash with human or Zora Link and you spin the control stick, it does like a jump slash cancel and you can like move quicker.
Yeah, there's a whole animation where Link does the jump slash and then he recoils backwards while getting up. If you spin the control stick, that animation gets canceled.
Which I don't know if that's intentionally programmed or if that's like a weird oversight or something. I'm
not sure.
Yeah, where's Fig in the chat at?
It's interesting because you cannot jump slash cancel with Deku Stick, but you can with your swords.
Yeah, including like Great Fairy Sword and Fierce Deity's jump slash works too with the jump slash cancel.
Definitely very weird.
So now we have the pendant, and now we're gonna go over to the Stockpot Inn, which kicks you out at 8:30 if you do not have the room key, which we do not. Thankfully, if you're late here and you make it here after 8:30, you just have to enter from the top loading zone and give it to her, but not something we have to worry about.
Yeah, have to make sure that we do this Andrew and Cafe side quest. There's a lot of setup that goes into it. So rolling back to the laundry pool now, and the next step in the side quest is to make it day 3.
Yeah.
And that gives us the priority mail from the Curiosity Shop guy, but more importantly, the Keaton mask.
Yeah, well, the express mail is important too.
Both pretty important.
Yeah.
But the mail is not a mask, but it leads to a mask.
Yeah.
So it's got some importance too. Alright, night 3. Getting pretty close to final hours.
Yeah.
This run packs it all into cycle 2.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the run, I feel like a lot of Majora's Mask categories, the bulk of the run will occur in the second cycle, which is this one after becoming Human Link.
Yeah.
Like, it's always...
Yeah.
It's funny to me for like a glitchless 100%, how it's like a 5 hour, 50-minute category, and like 3 or 4 hours are in the same cycle. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's about how it is for the no major glitches 100%. Like the third cycle is about like 30 minutes long, and the cycle after, once you beat Majora, is like 20 minutes. And then first cycle is like 30-ish. So that's what, like an hour 20 of the run. And like it's just about over 3 hours of the run.
Yeah.
Or cycle 2. 3 hours of the run in a run that's 4.5 hours. So Butter gave the priority mail to the postman. The postman is in despair without something to do for his work, so we give him mail, and we need to do that so he can give us his hat, which counts as a mask.
Well, my bomb count's actually pretty good, but you know, more bombs are always
hurts.
fun.
Never hurts to have more bombs.
Yeah, you never know what might happen. So, 2 things are gonna hopefully happen here. When we enter Pirate's Fortress, you can do a super slide off a bomb to get Link over to the far side during the cutscene. And if I don't get that, we can just make it over normally, which is fine. So let's see if we can get that real quick. Take off Zora Mask right
I feel
away.
like this is the latest that a run that does glitches goes into Pirate's Fortress.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because hookshot is such a useful item.
Yeah. I was like super messed up that angle, unfortunately, and missed the suicide. So I should have went for it again just to show it off because I think it's a cool trick. But what you can do is do a super slide, and Link will slide under the water during the cutscene of the camera panning around and showing you the exterior Pirate's Fortress. And so now, instead of going under, despite us having Goron Mask and being able to actually do the Pirate's Fortress sewers normally, we're gonna do 2 hovers and a mega flip to get over here much faster.
This cuts down so much time on visiting Pirate's Fortress.
Yeah.
The sewers is not the lengthiest, but like you have to set it up with the Goron mask or the Goron switch over there, and then swim all the way back.
Yeah.
And then like you can go pretty fast in there, but if you mess up at all and get caught by the air vents, you're thrown all the way back outside. It's just you just don't have to deal with any of that.
Yeah.
You just do some hovers and a mega flip. All right, interesting thing here. We specifically came to Pirate's Fortress during the nighttime. For whatever reason, this guard is placed 1 pixel backwards, like than normal, only at nighttime, and that makes it so you don't get caught by this pirate at the door. And the way pirates start looking for you is based on sound relative to Link's movement. So if you start walking and you make footstep sounds, they'll start turning around to see where you are. But if you do anything that doesn't make footstep sounds, basically,
It's got the sickest camera.
They will just not give you any attention.
Oh, interesting.
So side hops, backflips, rolling, anything that's not walking, you can just roll right past the guards.
Oh, no. Oh. That's so tragic.
That was the Ocarina items trick that Butterlord mentioned earlier in the run.
Yeah, I held too far on the stick, though.
Yeah, if you hold ESS position and then press the egg and then press B, I assume Zora Mask also works. I press B for the sword, or fins rather. If you press Zora Mask, or if you press Zora Egg and then B or Zora Mask, you'll get to play the Ocarina underwater, which is not intended in the N64 version.
Yeah. Which would have been really nice if they had that, because basically just for Pinnacle Rock, it would have been nice.
Just Pinnacle Rock, really. Ooh, here's a cool setup into the Gibdo house. You do 3 side hops, a punch, 2 more side hops, and then roll straight forward after curling. You'll just clip into the corner of this house.
Oh, that angle is kind of far. There we go. And now we're in without having to use Song of Storms. Yeah.
that in itself is lengthy. That's at least like 5 minutes or something.
Yeah, we have not even seen the graveyard yet. I don't even know a graveyard. But we will soon enough. But
Yeah, that's always one of the funnier clips because it just works.
Yeah. And now Pamela's father is saved.
And we have the Gibdo mask now. Randomly has the function of letting you enter Ikana Canyon, even though you're intended to get Garo mask to do that.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Not very useful for vanilla gameplay at all, but very useful for rando.
Yeah. Am I gonna bonk here? I knew it.
That's tragic.
Yeah.
Alright, so we've done a lot of the Anju and Cafe side quests. It's time to break into Sakon's hideout.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna roll at the wall.
Yeah,
There's a giant crack in the side of the wall that you can just roll into.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately his hideout isn't very secure for him. Fortunate for us though, since normally in the base, in like a casual playthrough, you have to be on that screen by the time it hits 7 p.m. on night 3. We're gonna do another instance of time stop here, and I'm gonna press the switch, wait, step on the switch, hit bugs. Now I'm controlling Cafe during this cutscene, and now I'm gonna push this block during the cutscene also. So that skipped Cafe talking to us and being like, there's the sun mask and other things. So
It blows my mind how much more involved this is. I think I've said this like 3 times now compared to 100%. It's just so crazy to me.
Now we can do hookshot clipping.
Yeah, you can manipulate these babas to be right next to the wall, and you can hookshot onto them, and it'll push you into the wall.
Yeah.
To get on top of this conveyor belt here.
Just being very careful not to fall off there. And if you hit that top button, it finishes the whole thing for you.
Yeah, that hideout sequence is very scary because if you fall off that conveyor belt, I'm pretty sure you just have to Song of Soaring out and do the whole thing again.
Yeah. And
it is very rough.
If you noticed, it was 10 p.m., but now it is final hours because finishing the hideout just sets it to final hours, since I guess like in a normal playthrough, you're like expected to be doing the Anju and Cafe quest, which that's like the last big part of the Anju and Cafe quest, which we will get back to that quest later. We have a few more things to do before then. Like the other only required instance of Lens of Truth in the whole game is getting Stone Mask.
I honestly forgot about this guy.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Even I forgot about him.
Yeah, only this and getting Goron Mask are the only 2 things in the game that absolutely need Lens of Truth, which is very interesting that they did that. But there are more like casual uses for it, but that's the only 2 things that absolutely hard require it.
So now we're going to the graveyard. There is another mask right around here. Normally to get the captain's hat, you're supposed to fight Captain Kita, like raise him from his grave here under the bridge, but a little slow. We're gonna do something called a weird shot. One of my favorite tricks. You can use the explosion frames of a bomb after rolling into it while pulling hookshot, and it'll propel Link either straight down or through a wall going straight forward. And you can use that to just go out of bounds and hookshot things you're not supposed to be able to from like specific angles. And this is another weird shot here. We're gonna use it to clip past the flaming wall around the chest. Nice. And once you're in front of the chest, you can either press A or press start and then A to open the chest. You can overlap both the A and start buttons. So you can either get a pause frame or get the frame where you open the chest. So you basically get 2 free inputs on that instead of just 1.
Yeah. And during that, I set up the map point to go back to Woodfall because earlier, if you remember, after beating Woodfall Temple, I did a cutscene skip on the Deku Princess room, and we're gonna go and tend to that now, finally, after, letting her kind of just chill there for a good while. Hope she's been having a good time in there. Hey, you'll even notice in here what Morph said about weird movement. Like, your Goron roll is like extra slow in here. It's really weird.
If you had magic filled, it wouldn't let you charge a spike roll, I think.
Yeah.
It's very weird. That room is not normal. But we do need Deku Princess to initiate the Butler race to get Mask of Sense. But first, we're going to do an entirely small dungeon to get Mask of Truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. We need to collect 30 gold skulls.
Yeah, so even though we are not going to be doing Oceanside Spider House, which is normally the other method you do to get your second wallet upgrade, we do get to do Swamp Spider House, which is fortunate because I personally love the spider houses in this game.
Big same.
They're just like so action-packed and just so quick. It was always like one of the most impressive things for me watching a speedrun this game before I was like familiar with runs of this game.
All right, I thought you got bug trolled for a second.
It's been a while. It's been a long time since that one has happened.
All right, so Butter put on Lens of Truth before emptying those bugs out. He basically did the same type of bottle dupe that he did over the Bomb Juice and Deku Nuts earlier in the run. We don't need to use Lens of Truth anymore for anything, so we can just put a bottle over it.
Yeah. And having the bottle is just very handy.
Something that's scary and no one talks about is using Bunny Hood for this segment. You move really fast and Link's sword does not have a lot of range and you only have 3 hearts. It is very easy to just get clipped and die. The skulls here on contact deal a whole heart of damage.
Yeah. I'm actually doing an instance of Ocarina items here. There you go. There's my sword as an Ocarina. I'm going to use that to invert time. A little early, but I'm just going to play it safe. Make sure I give myself enough time to work with here.
Yeah, for sure. Don't you need the wallet from Oceanside to get all night masks? You do, but we're going to get the wallet again from the bank. I can re-explain collection delay once that happens.
Yeah, that'll be in about like 10, 15 or so, I think, we'll get in there. So,
yeah,
not too long.
Probably like one of the biggest time saves that this game has seen in, like, one of the bigger time saves I would say in the last like 10 years-ish. Aside from like, Hidden Owl, Remained Escape, that kind of stuff. So we're just going around collecting some tokens. All we have left is the monument room and the upstairs portion.
Yeah, the spider houses are done before you know it.
They're so fast-paced. Ooh, we get the spring water here. This is relevant in a little bit.
Yeah, you might be wondering, what will we be using that for? Well, very shortly you'll have an answer. But I'll give you a little tease. For some reason, water, like spring water in this game, has the property of light and many other properties as well, I'm pretty sure, but light is the relevant one. And we'll get back to that later, but I'll give you that for now to work with. if anybody is unaware. Last one incoming.
Ooh, the jump slashes. So spooky.
They're a little spooky, but also not spooky. Also, I love this pot texture. Big fan of that pot right there.
Oh, come on, bugs. All right, good.
Yeah, so Morpheus mentioned it at the start of the spider host, but there's this really cool thing where you need all 3 of the bugs to enter the little like hole there that you put the bugs into for the spider to pop out. And there's a pretty rare event that can occur where 1 or more of the bugs takes just too long to get in there, and it just cancels the cutscene and gives you like an error sound, and you just lose your bugs. It's pretty rare, and I feel like I've only had it happen to me once, and I think I've seen it happen like once or twice to somebody else ever.
That was probably me both times.
I know I've seen it happen to Pope, and neither all masks are 100%, but it's very rare, not common at all.
It's probably like the biggest RNG time loss you could experience for like absolutely no reason.
Yeah, like there's nothing you can do about it. It's just unlucky.
It's one of those things where like if you're doing something like Dampe or Dog Race, you can like expect to lose time if something goes poorly.
Yeah.
But like bugs just not working for what seems like no reason is like one of the more tilting ones to lose time to, I would say.
Yeah, like maybe
especially that last one. There's no good way of getting back up there immediately.
Yeah. And also, yes, property of light indeed. It'll make more sense in a few minutes, I promise. Also, there's the question, is there a way to die or void the same frame you collect the skull to dupe them? Not to my knowledge. I don't believe there's any way to dupe any.
Yeah, I don't know anything about duping skulls either.
Oh, hello, Deku Scrub person.
These scrubs have a huge talk radius, just like everyone else in this game,
Yeah.
to be honest.
NPCs are chatterboxes in this game, let me tell you. They love talking to you when you're not looking at them.
It's quite strange. There's one in particular that is not quite a chatterbox. It's the very last one in the game.
Yeah, they are very particular, those ones. Also doing Butler Race with Goron Mask, which I would say is probably not the intended way in a casual playthrough. They expect you to do this.
I think it's the coolest way, though.
It is pretty hype.
It's so fast.
Oh, hello, wall.
You do have to be careful, though. If you go a little too fast, this butler will rubber band to you and sometimes just throw you off a ledge.
Yeah.
And that is really terrifying for in-game time reasons.
Maybe he'll nudge me here? Oh, I think he nudged me to the side.
I think so.
All right, here, if I get a spike roll and have good aim, I can roll past all those firewalls, baby, and bonk there,
Nice.
but that's okay.
I think you have to wait for this rock anyway, so...
Yeah, you can spike roll past it. Your spikes will give you immunity to the rock, but...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could carry it that far.
Yeah. Also, there's some really cool fire jumps there, but if you miss them, it's really bad. So I'm just gonna shoot that switch as Miyamoto wanted us to. I guess it'd be a Numa, actually. I don't know if Miyamoto had much impact on this game.
That I do not know.
Also,
Another fun thing on Japanese, if you go too far forward and finish way ahead of the butler, he can just clip through the floor sometimes because he goes too fast.
Yeah, so you want to avoid standing where the butler is gonna end his path at. Because if you clip him out of bounds, I guess you just leave and do it again, which is really bad. But as long as you stay away from him, you'll be safe. Alright, so we're going to deposit 114 rupees here, and that's going to set us up for next cycle.
And now at this point, we're just killing in game time, and conveniently there's a mask we can get out here in Termina Field.
Yeah, okay. Got some rupees. I need 20 rupees also for some milk. And I am really far ahead of in-game time. I'm not sure if it's worth it to uninvert at this point and then reinvert again.
It might be, I would say, like uninvert right now.
Yeah, maybe walk over as human, do a little stroll. Yeah, let's do it, yeah.
I think it's like 1 hour 50 something remaining.
Yeah, we need to be an hour 30 remaining at the Stockpot Inn for the Couples Mask quest to start, so I'm basically just waiting for that to happen.
Ooh, this is going really fast, this timer.
Yeah. You know?
I always forget how fast uninverted time moves.
Yeah.
Until I see these numbers on screen.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It is very crazy.
Yeah, when you invert time in this game, it slows down to, I believe, a third of the speed it moves normally.
Yeah.
It is very slow. A cycle normally lasts like just under an hour, but if you invert at the start of the cycle and play it out all the way through, it lasts just under 3 hours. And this is assuming that time is moving nonstop, because time always stops when you're like talking to NPCs or you pause the game. So it could very well last like 4 hours or something in a casual playthrough sense.
Yeah, anytime there's text on screen, in-game time is not passing. Which will actually come up in a few minutes.
It's like text on screen, pausing the game, and pulling out your ocarina. Or a cutscene item, I suppose. Because you could pull out like bottled contents and it will just do nothing and just pause the timer.
Mm-hmm. And we have the conclusion to probably the biggest side quest in the game. Unless if you count the Fierce Deity quest, which is kind of like just a culmination of doing what we're doing, actually. I would say this is probably the biggest quest in the game.
For sure.
Definitely the most involved. Like, I couldn't imagine trying to do all this, like, as a kid.
The fact you have to do it twice to get the postman's hat and the milk bottle.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. I don't know what they were doing putting that sixth bottle. 6 bottles, by the way. It's a lot of bottles.
Yeah. Also, I have the Stone Tower map point now. If you have the Hidden Owl like we have, and you put your map cursor on Stone Tower and you play Song of Soaring, and I believe if you hit A, it will crash the game. It like puts you on like an invalid like Song of Soaring point.
Yes. Using Song of Soaring with the Hidden Owl is interesting. It can do some weird things if you're not careful. There are some map... I think it's just the Stone Tower map point that's like that. Yeah. If you also attempt to move the cursor at all after playing Song of Soaring and the map screen comes up, if you move the cursor on that map screen, the game will also crash.
Okay, that was weird because the Earth started going crazy.
The moon shaking is always a hard thing to deal with.
Yeah, I was like, I might have backwalked early. But thankfully I didn't. Okay, so that whole property of light I mentioned earlier. So water has the property of light, and there's a ledge that's high up right here in front of this sunblock here. So if we go up here, drop water on this ledge, it will act as if a light source, such as light arrow or mirror shield light, hit this this sunblock, and just deletes it. And now I am going to... Oh, wait, hold up. I need to show the egg.
Oh, man.
Almost forgot. That would have been crazy.
All right, so we're doing a trick here called... Let me get into the pause first. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a scary one because if you fail that, I don't know what you do. I don't know if there's a backup for failing this trick. This is called get item manipulation, GIM for short. You can use milk and hookshot to store the hookshot from... So you press hookshot, you drink milk, that stores the hookshot being fired. And if you pull hookshot out again, on the first frame that Link has it on his hand, and you press A to open the chest, something between the interaction between having milk in hand and hookshot turns any chest with, I think, compass or maps into light arrows.
Yeah.
There's a lot more under the hood that goes into it. You can do the same thing on like common chests, like stray fairies or rupees. Those, if you do GIM on those treasure chests, those will give you Ocarina. Yeah, I don't understand all the details that go into GIM, but it is very useful.
Yeah.
Even though there's not many items you can get from it, the two that you can get are very good.
Also, when I flip the dungeon there, little small trick called bow extension, where it basically allows your bow to like extend forward into objects.
What was that? Camera?
Imagine I got that.
Imagine the save. That would have been crazy.
That basically allows your bow to like extend further into objects than normally. What is happening?
So Butter's trying to do a roll clip here. If you time a roll here, the same time you would like press roll to do a Hess, it'll push you back. And you can use that if your controller has a good diagonal for it to roll through the corner there between the sunblock and the wall.
Good.
Nice.
I am very glad I did not miss that. Ooh. Yeah, you can do another recoil flip there to get to this platform with the Igor and just kind of body him with some bombs really quickly. And now we can get the Giant's Mask, which this is the only non-bow related item that you can get in a dungeon in this game, which is interesting.
Milk also allows a run hookshot? Yes, that's correct. Are the shakes random or linked to countdown / real time? No idea.
I want to say that they're consistent, I'm pretty sure, but I'm also not certain on that one.
Okay.
Also, Ocarina Dive, you can just walk off that ledge there and just press Ocarina.
That looked really fast.
Yeah, it's very quick. And then another boss key skip incoming. What? I might just wait for this cycle now so this thing doesn't ruin me.
So if you do 3 vertical slashes here, turn around and then recoil off the bomb, it puts you in the perfect position to just clip between the wall and the door frame.
Yeah.
And we are now in Twin Mold's room with 20 minutes in game remaining.
Yeah.
You probably noticed Butter did walk off the ledge a minute ago and play Song of Time. That'll be relevant right now. So we mentioned that when you bring up text in this game, it pauses the in-game timer. So Butterlord's gonna get some free shots off here on the first part of this fight on Blue Twin Mold.
I'm also gonna drink the rest of this milk just for safety. Just in case Twin Mold's mean to me.
He's gonna store a stick jump slash, equip Giant's Mask, bring up a text box. This will ask him if he wants to save and return to day 1, but he's going to wait to use that text box. We will be using it. This also pauses his magic meter, so he has infinite magic to do this fight with Giant's Mask.
Oh, damn.
That was a really good pattern.
I wish I could get that in a PB attempt. Dang.
That was really good.
That was very good.
Yeah, so with stick, jump slash, sword, and using Giant's Mask, he's going to be doing a lot of damage really fast to Twin Mold, assuming that they cooperate and keep giving good patterns like that.
Yeah.
Normally, in pretty much any other speedrun, I'm pretty sure for this game, you're going to be using the bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Between like using elemental shots and then normal arrows to finish off red.
Oh, I thought it would push me. Come on. He's
Does
like,
glitchless hundo do this strat, I wonder? Probably
nah.
No, it's on English, never mind.
Oh, 2 hits.
Nice. Alright, so that was a pretty good fight. We still have this text on screen.
Yeah.
And the moon's about to crash, so we're going to save the game after collecting the remains. So the frame that Link is in the blue warp and starts turning around to face the camera to initiate the animation, the game will have put the remains in his inventory. So he can press yes right after that animation plays, reset his Wii, and he'll have Twin Mold's remains in his inventory once he boots up the next cycle.
All right.
Good stuff, dude.
Cycle 2 has been completed finally.
Always a stressful one.
As you can see, there isn't the file select in case you didn't believe us.
Yeah, that is called Song of Time storage, bringing up the text box like that. You can store mainly the Song of Time songs and bring them up as text to do various things. That's what he was doing earlier in the run in Romani Ranch with the day resets. He inverted time earlier in Deku Palace, using the same thing after voiding out from Hidden Owl. Song storage is a pretty prevalent part of Majora's Mask speedrunning.
Yeah. And the Silver Rupee chest conveniently respawns every time you play Song of Time. So now we're gonna go back here to the banker, which we already have the giants or the adult wallet from him, but he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that he's given us a wallet already. So when I put 20 rupees in to get back to 200, we get the giant's wallet, which is required in this run.
Yeah, there is something that costs the max amount of 500 rupees.
Mm-hmm.
So we do still need to save up for that.
In order to buy 2 more sets of shoes, I'm gonna apparently back out because I want to talk to him more.
It's so easy to just like hit the B button by accident.
Yeah.
And it just clears the whole thing. You just leave. Like, very unfortunate.
I guess for anybody joining a little bit late into the run, earlier basically we got the adult wallet from the banker, but we basically did a little glitch called collection delay where we get the reward, but the flag isn't set, so you can get the reward again from the same source instead of having to do the entirety of Oceanside Spider House, which is cool because it saves a ton of time, but also... Wait, I don't want to do it yet. But also, Oceanside, I think, is also hype, in my opinion.
Agreed. Alright, so we did get that one egg way back in Pirate's Fortress when we got the hook shot. It's about time we use it, and we're going to be doing something called Equip Swap. We're going to equip the egg and put them over the light arrow slot while preserving the real egg that we have in our Lens of Truth slot. I think it's a lens slot. No, it's Decanut slot.
Decanut, yeah.
So the real egg is in our Deku Nut slot, but we're putting that egg over the Light Arrow slot, and that lets us keep duping this egg over and over so we don't have to collect all 7 real eggs.
Yeah, we have 3 so far. This is 4.
Yeah, this is one of the harder things to grasp at first. You're putting the cursor over the item you want to equip, turning the page to the right or left, depending on where you put the item, and then turning back the page to the item screen, and then hitting a notch, a diagonal notch, like up, down, or up, left, or up, right, and then the C button on the same frame.
Also, those,
what's up?
Was that perfect equip swaps?
It looked like it.
That was crazy.
And the pause screen runs at a little bit of a faster frame rate. It runs at 30 as opposed to the normal gameplay's 20. So the timing can be a little difficult at first.
Yeah. Not really relevant, but it's also kind of interesting to know that the title screen of this game runs at 60 FPS. I guess just because they could. So now, I set my map point prior to this. So I'm gonna mash Ocarina and Start to initiate the cutscene. Okay, well, I did a little too preemptively, lol. So
nice.
I pulled Ocarina to start the New Wave Bossa Nova cutscene, and then I pulled Ocarina again, which skips the cutscene and allows us to soar. And as soon as you initiate the cutscene, it puts New Wave in your inventory. So now I have New Wave Bossa Nova without having to watch the whole cutscene. Unfortunately, we don't get the little jam session, so my condolences. But now we have a little fairy fountain alt exit coming up, which is kind of similar to the grottos in a way, where all of the... Oh, hello, dragonfly. Oh my goodness.
These guys are the most aggressive enemy in this game.
That's a first. For me, at least. All right, round 2.
Oh, that was close.
This guy wanted some spotlight. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So yeah, just like the grottos, every fairy fountain is connected on the same map. And it's pretty easy to get out of bounds in these fairy fountains.
Yeah.
So we're gonna climb on top of this pillar here. And he's gonna get ISG and start hovering and do some side hops.
Oh.
That was a weird pickup animation. Yeah, so he's gonna get high enough and then start doing side hops over to the left here. This is gonna put him inside of the Snowhead fairy fountain. And you'll notice it's the Snowhead one if you're familiar with the game, because the color in the background is going to change from pink to green.
Yeah.
Which is neat.
Oh.
And now we're going to be going into Snowhead, but we still have to deal with this wind blowing.
Yeah.
And the way to do that is we're going to use our sword to not get pushed off the ledge, because if you're slashing your sword, you cannot get pushed off ledges. And we're going to Goron roll against the wind.
Nice. Yes.
And once we get to this ramp here, we're in the clear.
Now, I'm actually show off a little cool trick that you never see normally with Bremen Mask and a stick. So,
I have no idea how to do this.
So you can get ISG off Bremen Mask by crouch stabbing with stick and then using Bremen Mask during the crouch stab, and now I have ISG. Normally in a run, you would use a bomb there, but I really wanted to show that off just because I think it's really neat. You can do it with Kamaro Mask too. And you can also do it with the Great Fairy Sword instead of a stick, but it doesn't work with your normal sword. So.
Yeah, because those masks end up replacing your B button with like dance or march or whatever the words are.
Yeah.
Can never be too safe with this guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
I definitely saw that. Yeah, the snowballs that drop here are RNG, how big they are. So sometimes if you get a really big one, it can kind of mess you up. Also, if you're familiar with runs of this game, Having bunny hood for that makes it so much easier. It's so nice.
All right, and now we're in Snowhead. First thing we're gonna do is attempt to do this trick called action swap. Another trick, I do not know the details under the hood of how this works.
Oh, my angle got messed up. That's okay. If I could escape, that'd be lovely. Yeah, I did not get a direct 90-degree angle turn, unfortunately, but that's okay. I got that angle.
Yeah, I do not know the details of action swap, but essentially, if you try to aim your hookshot while targeted, side hop, pull out Deku Stick the frame before a text box from Tattle comes up, or any NPC really. The next time you pull stick, you can shoot a flaming arrow. Not a fire arrow, because fire arrows are different, but it's like shooting an arrow through a torch.
Yeah,
Don't know the specifics, but that's the gist of it.
Really?
Yeah, and this is called another trick here called Scarecrow Skip. Normally there's a Scarecrow you can spawn here if you have the Scarecrow song. And you can hookshot up that way. Whoa, fast roll. But you can precisely aim to that torch there. It's a really precise shot. And now we're fighting the Wizrobe for fire arrows. I think it's the only action swap in the run that you do because you just get fire arrows right here.
Yeah. And I'm going to attempt, so we're going to punch him twice, which will start phase 2. I'm going to attempt to damage him right as he's about to like go into the cutscene and prevent him from actually being able to like do the thing where he like moves around and such. And it never fully starts phase 2 and you can just kill him really quickly.
Nice.
Not too bad. Not the hardest thing. Now we have the fire arrow.
So now we're gonna go up to Goat's room. And we're gonna target this torch here. And we're gonna get ISG off of it with a bomb shoe, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gamer strat. And we're gonna hover up into this snowball tunnel here.
I might equip bombs real quick just to save a few chews. Just wanted to be a little safe because I do need
one bomb for Remains Escape.
Yeah, and I do need some chews later in the run. And in case I mess up, also really funny boss key skip. Just go here, get an angle like this, and backwalk, and you're in.
He is literally just too big, so the ice just pushes him through the door.
Yeah. And now, this is actually a relatively big RNG segment. Usually it's pretty kind, but sometimes it is not very kind.
Yeah, this fight is a little stressful. It's not hard, but it can very easily go wrong if the game wants it to.
Yeah, there's these is it stalactites that fall from the ceiling? Because there's stalactites and mites.
It's stalactite.
All right, cool.
I only know the difference because it's happened enough to me.
So we're gonna get to a specific position. So Goat is kind of like stuck in place. Gee, that was a little slow there.
Yeah, that's fair. And we're gonna shoot him with a bunch of arrows. He takes 15 arrows to go down, and you can split them up so that when he starts moving, you can fire the last arrow, and it sets him up to die and spawn his remains right in front of us here.
Yeah, that was good. I didn't see any stalactites fall, so really nice.
And now Butter's gonna be doing the first Remains Escape of this run.
Yeah. Which is why we damaged down.
Yeah, we did damage down at some point.
Oh,
Oh.
I thought it. Welp. That's okay. That was a weird frame because the previous frame looked too early, and then that frame I was on looked correct. So I'm kind of surprised. It might have been a weird.
Sometimes depending on where you drop the bomb can change that. It's really strange because I've had that happen in practice where like I know the frame looks wrong, but I know like the frame is correct to press A on and pick up the remains. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But we'll get another chance to do that on Georgs. But basically, if you put the bomb in the center of the remains and walk out and pull the hook shot, if you time an A press correctly, you can end up picking up the blue warp. And the frame that the blue warp gets put up off the ground, it will give you the remains in your inventory.
Mm-hmm.
And the bomb is also convenient there because it lets you pick it up, or it acts as a pickup item, and it also kills Link, so you can death warp to the start of the temple and just leave because you can't play Song of Soaring inside boss rooms.
Yeah.
So lots of things working out together to get like one really fast trick.
Yeah. Yeah, not the worst thing to happen, especially in a marathon setting. It doesn't really change the run at all. The only kind of weird thing is that I am at half a heart now, so I might go up and get the ferry behind the lab.
Yeah. Probably better to get the one near Zora Hall unless you use that one as a ferry. Or keep that one for later.
I just feel like the Zora Hall ferry is like annoying to get sometimes.
Yeah, that's fair.
And also
sometimes it just hovers over the water and you just have to wait there.
Yeah, and also I can get the extra bomb drop too because I used a few extra bombs.
True. You only got one bomb right now.
Yeah.
Great Bay is nowhere near as extensive as the other temples in this category.
Yeah.
It is very much a get in, get out kind of deal.
I was praising you, Fairy. I was just giving you such a good look. Oh, I never played Song of Double Time. Whoopsie.
Ooh. Oh, you have to play that in Snowhead.
Yeah, I completely forgot because I was like, I'm gonna play it after I get Fire Arrow, and then I forgot to play it. That's not the worst thing ever. I'm glad I noticed now because I was like, something's weird. It's supposed to be nighttime. Why is it not nighttime?
Yeah, doing it after Fire Arrow is a safe bet just because like Scarecrow Skip can be really hit or miss sometimes.
Yeah. So we might be waiting for a little bit of in-game time, but not the worst thing ever.
Yeah. Now we're on our way to Great Bay Temple, and there are 2 immediate cutscene skips.
Okay. Oh, that bomb fell in the water.
That bomb fell in the water, dude.
I did not collect it. All right, we get 1 chance at a pause here. 1 frame to get 1 pause.
I will stay quiet for this one.
I was late.
Dang. Yeah, this is a turtle cutscene skip. There is a frame you can press the pause button on after playing the song is over, where you can pause the game and start putting inputs in. So you can input a target and then a side hop, and that'll put you into the load zone. But you can't mash it. There's no buffer for it, and you only have 1 frame to hit start.
Yeah.
It's a very punishing trick to deal with. It's very much like a good way of like, it's a good nerves check at the end of a run. This trick is very typically at the end of many runs.
Yeah, and this cutscene, like, it's a pretty long cutscene, so it is so unfortunate to miss this one. But
this one is at least a minute, yeah.
Yeah. The good news is that we got the jam session though, so that's good.
That is true. Banger song for sure.
Well, since we are chilling for a cutscene, it might be a good time to talk about if you're enjoying these runs and you are interested in supporting GDQ Hotfix. There's a few ways to do that. One is you can check out our 2024 Season 4 shirt at the Yeti, YETEE.com/GDQ. It has all of the show logos on it, including this show. I actually ordered one and it shipped for me today. So hopefully in a future episode, I will be wearing one of those. And also your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel, which is right here, help support Games Done Quick Hotfix. So if you enjoy watching Speedrun, consider subscribing to the channel, and this also gives you access to our emotes and lets you chat with other subscribers during our replays. And lastly, if you want an in-depth look at our Season 4 schedule or any runs that are coming up during a week, you can check out gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. Check back every week. You'll be able to see the schedule for the whole week, all the great games and runners that we have. So always make sure to check that at the beginning of every week if you have some time. But with that, I'll toss it back over.
Sounds good. Yeah, so normally after getting Turtle cutscene skip, you enter Zora Hall, come back out, and then you do a time stop to skip this cutscene we're watching here. But I believe if you miss Turtle cutscene skip, I don't think it's worth it to go for Pirate cutscene skip, so I just opted to watch the cutscene and got to see that fun little cutscene of those pirates.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Also, since I'm so far ahead of in-game time, I'm gonna go get these bombs back here, since we're probably gonna be waiting anyways, and having these bombs will just feel good.
Yeah, so we're in Great Bay, and we're only gonna see 2 rooms of it. The first one that we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
And the boss room.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
With this bomb here, oh, the camera's a little off.
Yeah, my camera didn't change correctly.
So we can use this bomb that we place here to push Link into the wall. And we're gonna set up a lineup here so that way we can pull a bomb and recoil off of it. And with a good recoil,
nice,
we will land straight into the boss room.
Another weird shot, which hopefully I get this arrow shot. Basically, we're trying to shoot Georg out of bounds because he is loaded down there. Let's see. I'm looking at OBS because I can't see the out of bounds on my TV. I did not get the arrow shot. Unlucky. A little unfortunate, but that's okay. Basically, you do the weird shot there and you aim at Georg out of bounds, which is kind of difficult because you can't really see Georg down there. And it basically skips this cutscene.
Yeah, that shot is really hard. This is like top 2 darkest rooms in the game.
Yeah.
It's like this and the actual dark room in Woodfall.
Especially because there's no like specific like setup like you might see in Ocarina of Time. I feel like it's more common, for example, to like do some movement setup to get Link in a specific position. But for that weird shot, you just like walk to the general position you want to be in. So it makes it even like extra tricky.
So because of the way Japanese swimming is, we kind of just have to curl ourselves at Guywork the whole time with the Zora shield.
Yeah.
And the whole idea with this fight is we're trying to stun him as he's swimming or like getting ready to crash into us into the wall.
Oh, that was.
Oh, that's lucky.
That was interesting. Well, let's see if he swims a good way for me here. Nope.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah. If he manages to end up like basically with his face inside of the wall, you can damage him and kind of just smush yourself between Guywork's face and the wall, and you can kind of just like wiggle the stick up and down.
Yeah.
And that'll just like keep you in a good spot and keep the damage going the whole time.
Also, another cool trick incoming. I hope I don't miss this from Main's Escape because it leads to a really cool trick where we're gonna be actionable in a room you are not supposed to be actionable in. So let's see here. Need one more.
Yeah.
Nice. So that's the remains escape. So now we're gonna move in a specific way, put on Goron Mask and Void. And now we're in the Giant's room.
Nice.
So basically, when you pull Ocarina there, I'm pretty certain what's happening is it's basically in the background is initiating the like little cutscene of like Link holding the remains above his head and it like fading to white and teleporting you here. But you void, I guess like when you're in this room, I guess when the game thinks you're in that room, and it ends up just spawning you in that room in an actionable state, and you can sort of clock down there. I might have got that explanation very incorrect because I am not very certain on the specifics of every part of it, but it looks cool.
I'm not familiar with that version of it, since in the any percent category that I mainly run, we kind of just pick up the blue warp and immediately death warp out.
Oh, I'm early.
Just a few minutes.
That's okay. We get it.
Or in-game minutes, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I believe it's between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. you can enter the milk bar without Romani's mask, but then between 9 to 10, I guess they're like I don't know, like cleaning or setting up or something, and you can't enter during then. And I happen to get there during that little window where you can't enter. And now we are doing a little sound check here to get a mask that is very unfortunate in terms of usage in the game.
It has one use, and you can't use it properly in the sense that like it doesn't help you because you use it during the Cremia cart ride thing where you're defending her cart from the Gorman brothers. But that reward gives you Romani Mask, and you're intended to enter the milk bar like ever for this circus leader's mask we're about to get with Romani Mask. So it's just kind of like you could just use it as like a little Easter egg thing, but there is no real purpose for this mask.
Yeah. I believe in the 3DS version they made it so Circus Leader's mask lets you get another bottle, I think it is. I want to say, I've never played the 3DS version, but I know it has a secondary purpose.
I played it when it came out like 10 years ago, so I cannot remember for sure.
Alright, so now... Oh, Mask of Sense. Not yet, buddy. Finishing up here. Yeah, I was headcanon at least that the whole Circus Leader's mask thing is just kind of like a last minute idea, or like maybe they even like didn't realize it. Maybe it was an oversight on their part that they didn't realize like, oh, you can't actually use it for the purpose that we intended it for until after you've already done the thing that we wanted you to use it for. There is, however, with the whole Romani quest, if you do the Romani minigame multiple times, like the first time she gives you Romani's mask, or I guess you do the Cremia minigame, sorry. If you do the Cremia minigame multiple times, after getting Romani's mask, she can either give you a rupee or a hug. So that's your incentive, I guess, to do it multiple times. And now, instead of going directly up to North Clocktown, we're actually going to go enter from Termina, because if I enter North Clocktown from that entrance in East Clocktown, it plays a little cutscene of like the camera panning around and such, which will...
Oh, I did not consider we have not entered North Clocktown from just only Termina Field.
Yeah. And let's see...
All right, and this is a cutscene skip here. That was a weird angle. That looked fine to me, but...
It's because I didn't get ESS. Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Boom. There you go.
Well done.
I'll even show you. Boom. Now we have Great Fairy Mask without watching the cutscene. Nice.
Yeah, on the first frame of that fairy fountain, the cutscene starting, it gives you the Great Fairy Mask. And now we're waiting for 12:20 to pass.
Yeah, so we got a little bit of time just to chill. We can just, I don't know, wander around. We can do a gainer here. I can talk to him, apparently.
Huge talk range, as per usual, for Majora's Mask NPCs.
Oh, I can try and climb this. I'm honestly not very good at climbing that.
I don't know how people do this.
That was
People do this so easily.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't get it.
Aw.
I can do many things in this game. I cannot climb this slide as human.
Yeah. Yeah, so Granny spawns at 12. Interestingly enough, though, you don't have to be on this screen at 12. As long as you're on this screen before it hits midnight, or before it hits like 12:20. Oh, I missed. Wow. You'll be good. But if you are on this screen after it turns midnight and you leave and come back, even if it's before she would get robbed normally, she's like gone.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that came up, I remember, in the like community glitchless all masks race like a couple of years back, because that happened to me in my run and I had to like song a time and like do an extra cycle and it lost a ton of time. Yeah. All right, we're getting near the end of the run. It kind of like just creeps up on you in cycle 3. So now,
yeah, it does.
We're gonna do another instance of time stop here, off this gossip stone here.
Yeah, we're gonna use this. We need it to be night 3 so we can get the all-night mask now that we've done the blast mask side quest. So we're gonna advance time by entering this grotto here, and that advances it by like 2 whole days.
Yeah, I don't know why that specifically happens. I've never heard an explanation, because they do that, or used to do it in 100% on the swordsman school.
The sword school? Yeah, they still do.
Yeah.
If you do it cycle 3, then yeah. Very strange.
Yeah, so basically we just super sped up time. And now we're gonna equip Hookshot, Chew, and Blast Mask. We're gonna get ISG off the sign. We're gonna put our sword away. Now we have Hookshot out. We're gonna Hookshot clip again. And
nice.
Now we are inside we're gonna bonk also. Whoops. I don't have to equip swap this, but
better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, I just really want to. I cannot get this equip swap though. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so now we're just inside the curiosity shop well before 10, which is when you're supposed to enter here.
And now he's gonna do something called in Hundo we call it gold dust duping, but I guess this is milk duping. If you hold shield while selling this item, and then after pressing A to confirm you're selling this, if you mash the empty bottles, Link will instead just give out the empty bottles for sale. And that lets you preserve the item that you're selling. So we can just literally rip this guy off for free rupees.
But he also rips people off, so is it fair? I don't know.
Some might say.
Some might say. We'll leave that up for debate. But now we're going to enter the clock tower, and you might notice it is not midnight, but that's okay because there are a few different ways you can get in. And I think this is the only category that you usually do this, but we're going to drop a bomb here. We're going to roll up in front of it, go on pound, and then boost our way in, since the wall doesn't go all the way up.
Yep, that is every mask in the game, except one, but we get that one here on the moon.
Yeah.
It just flies by so fast in this category.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're in cycle 2, like, it's like, wow, there's so much of the run going. But once you, like, beat Twin Mold, save your game, you're, like, almost done with the whole run at that point.
It's like Goat, Gyorg, Blast, Circus Leader, and then All Night Mask.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It's really fast.
And now we get to watch one of the best cutscenes in gaming.
Very lengthy cutscene for sure. There's absolutely nothing happening here.
Yeah, so if you have any more like announcements to share, Cutie, this would be a good time too.
I can always talk more about announcements. I will make one last plug to make sure you all mark your calendars, because we have Back to Black 2025 coming up on February 6th to 9th here on Games Done Quick Twitch channel. And also we have the GDQ's next all women and femme speedrun event, Frost Fatales 2025, also live here March 9th to 16th. So get those onto your calendars. I know I look forward to them every time they're coming up. And just remember, we have year-round events here at Hotfix, so we're a little bit more than just AGDQ, SGDQ, so stick around, check out the schedules, and make sure you're checking back regularly and often, because there's always something awesome here to watch, like one of these cutscenes.
This cutscene is pretty awesome.
This cutscene on like a PB paced run, like if it hits hard for sure.
Yeah. I would especially imagine in like any percent where you don't have fierce deity and you're like, you know, your heart's pounding. It's like, oh, sheesh.
Definitely can't confirm.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely been there with other runs.
There's all this tension built up, and then you get to the moon and you fail super slide, and you're like, man,
yeah.
What's the point?
I guess one thing we never really explained, but like one thing with if you're familiar with like Ocarina of Time speedrunning and Majora's Mask speedrunning at all, so in OT they use a lot more Hesses and super slides typically, but in MM, if you're doing a category where you get Goron Mask, it's kind of not as relevant because Goron roll with spikes is the same speed as super slider Hess. So basically anywhere in most cases where you could do a super slider Hess, you can just use Goron Mask and it's easier and just probably faster in most cases. But it's interesting little thing. And now the last thing we have is the moon with the trials, which is what we'll be using all of the masks for that we have obtained throughout the run. Yeah, I hope the run has been enjoyable so far. I'm glad it didn't go too horribly wrong. I'm thankful for that.
I mean, I can't speak for anyone else, but I've been loving it. I love that we are simultaneously doing all the things while glitching through everything to do nothing. Like, I think it's a fantastic juxtaposition of the two methodologies.
This is definitely like a very underrated category for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there hasn't been too many people running this in recent times. Gotta give a shout out to the Sausage, though, the current record holder, who has been doing runs, though. Definitely worth someone checking out.
For sure.
And there are actually a pretty good amount of Majora's Mask runners going right now, which, if you check the Majora's Mask category, the Twitch directory, you'll probably find a good handful of runners running. Like Morpheus, who has been very helpful with this run. This run definitely would have been a lot less exciting if you weren't here to help. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm very, very glad I could have you with me here.
I'm glad to be here. This is a very, very cool speed game. It really means a lot to me to be on just helping out any way I can.
Yeah. Yeah, if any.
All right, it's time for the Link trials, though.
Yeah.
Or Moon trials. Oops, I said Link trials.
I guess we will be Link during all of them.
This is true, yeah. This one is definitely more Link focused, though. This Twin Mold trial. Probably the most intense one for sure.
Yeah.
You don't have many hearts, and there's a lot of fights in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab this heart. Another Dinophos, which if anybody missed the Dinophos in Woodfall, don't worry, we get to see him again. And his fight is just as amazing as the first one.
And there he goes.
There he goes, baby. Interesting fight here, though, is fighting the Garo Master with Goron Mask. Not something you do normally.
This Garo Master fight is funny because he jumps forward compared to the other ones, and you have no space to get out of the way.
Yeah. That was exactly how you want that to go. That was really good.
The next fight we have coming up is an Iron Knuckle. And every time you fight an Iron Knuckle in this game, when you break their armor, they have a cutscene that plays of them like being shocked their armor's broken. And I'm pretty sure the length that cutscene lasts is different in every fight, which changes the timing of what Butter's about to do once this cutscene's over.
Yeah.
So he's gonna rinse and repeat this pound into punch until the armor breaks. And then he's just gonna punch him to death here.
Ooh, that was
Nice.
like a little
That was
early.
really early.
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, those guys deal 4 hearts of damage. At this point, that is a instant kill if that hits us.
Yeah. Nice little ISG off that chest there. And it's also important to slash your sword on Japanese if you're going to be hovering with shoes, because otherwise your shoes will like run to the walls if you don't slash your sword beforehand.
Yeah, so we mentioned earlier how power crouch stab in this game is like a thing, and your crouch stab deals 0 damage. This applies to like your sword in general until you swing it, kind of thing. So the sword hitbox is what's like detonating the bomb shoes to explode immediately, but if there's a wall, it will just cling to that first, since you're not doing any damage.
Yeah. Also, we played Song of Healing against that Gossip Stone because you're supposed to do like little bomb shoe puzzles in that room. But for whatever reason, the puzzle being completed flag and playing or spawning a fairy from those Gossip Stones, they share the same flag. So when you spawn a fairy, it also sets the flag of completing the bomb shoe puzzle. So it just opens that door for you, which is very convenient.
Now we have what I think is the most stressful trial, to be honest. I am not a fan of Goat Trial.
Yeah, which little interesting Goron mechanic. When you're rolling with spikes, I'm holding just the A button right now, as you can see, and he is rolling forward and bonking off these chests.
Another fun fact, if you have a very like, it's pretty much a perfect angle or like positioning on these rolls, you can bonk backwards off the chest and just fly to your doom.
Yeah, I've had that happen. Oh my god, I was so close to that teleporter. Yeah, I've had that happen at the end of a glitchless Hundo run, which is so tragic.
I've fallen off this like last part here after the heart piece, and like that killed PB by like 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's so sad. If you complete the puzzle normally, I'm pretty sure you can still get the fairy. It's just they like share the same flag for like the puzzle being completed.
Alright, Next we have Adola Trial. This one is probably the most straightforward one.
Yeah.
Just fly through the flowers and get to the door.
Also, interesting thing, this is, I don't know when exactly, but this is years ago at this point that somebody ran some like script to basically, I guess, brute force figuring out the optimal order to give your masks away on these trials.
I had it memorized at some point for NMG. It's very particular the way you want to do them.
Yeah, I guess just in terms of like cursor movements.
Yeah, that's all it really saves is cursor movements over everything else.
Yeah, but it's interesting that, you know, people put that sort of work into this, you know, figuring out every little thing.
It's also like you want to have like Blast Mask for Goat Trial and NMG, or Bunny Hood for Twin Wolf Trial.
Yeah.
So like all those things are accounted for as well, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And now we have our final trial coming up here.
Not the most straightforward, but definitely the easiest.
Yeah.
As far as I know, there's no way to tell which of these tunnels are correct. You kind of just swim through and guess which one is correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we already know the answer, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you want to get to like the child here to give the last masks to, it's just left, right, left, right. It's like, to me, I think this is the most disappointing trial because they could have done something interesting, I think, with Zora swimming, but it's just basically like, you know that Mario Party minigame with the train in Mario Party 3, I think? It's like,
Yeah.
It's that basically. Shout out to that minigame, whatever that one's called. Can't remember it right now.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. The one where you just copy whatever your friend does until you both draw.
Yeah, the dual minigame, yeah. Yeah, that is a funny minigame.
I think if it went on for like maybe a bit longer, it could have been slightly better, but the fact that you just have to guess 3 right.
Yeah.
And that's all the trials and every mask given away.
Yep.
And as a reward, we get the final mask, Fierce Deity.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Don't be fooled, though. You can still die in this fight in this category.
Yeah. It's gonna be extra safe. I doubt I'll need all these. Damn it! I was getting these perfect equip swabs during the Zora eggs. I was impressed. I was like, wow.
Yeah, even though Fierce Deity is obviously very powerful, the main draw to him is he is huge.
Yeah.
Like, really huge.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets clipped pretty easily in this fight, and with only 3 hearts, that's not many hits to take before you die.
Yeah. Also, interesting thing, you don't want to use 2 beams there. You want to beam and then jump slash, because if you shoot 2 beams there, it's possible you can clip Majora out of bounds, which is not the most ideal thing.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think otherwise, just shooting 2 beams is like slightly faster, but you want to definitely avoid that risk.
I always thought it was just faster because of like damage reasons. That's interesting. But yeah, Fierce Deity, very powerful. As soon as we get a lock on to Incarnation and a beam hits him, he's gonna like melt.
Oh,
this attack is the worst.
Bruh, I can't turn around, dude. Well, now I'm kind of glad I equip swapped that milk. Yeah, the hardest thing about this is just getting Incarnation on the screen.
Yeah, sword beams absolutely melt Incarnation.
Alright, time will be coming up in a second.
On the final hit.
Yeah. The plan is to do 4 jump slashes and then shoot beams, and it'll kill Majora. It'll be over in like 2 seconds if I get it. And there it is, done.
Time. Very nice, dude. GG's.
There it is. Yeah, that wrath phase, if you do it right, it's so quick. It's almost like humorous how quickly you can just melt wrath. Yeah,
I was gonna say thank you so much for showing that off. If you have any shout outs or want to tell the people where they can find you, where you run more of this content, I know you're super active doing it right now. Yeah, let's take a moment and go through that while we watch this cutscene.
Yeah, so yeah, I do stream pretty often on my Twitch channel. Yeah, Butterlord 120. I have a Blue Sky also. It's also the same Butterlord without the 120. Check me out on there. You should also definitely check out Morpheus 080 on Twitch, and I believe that's also his Blue Sky, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
There's just like so many people in like the Majora's Mask community that are just hype, like Jess 57329, the Human Protractor, the Sausage, Debrari, more I can't think of. So there's a lot of cool runners you should definitely check out. If there's actually tomorrow, in fact, I believe it's on the ZSR Zelda Speedruns Twitch channel, a glitchless any percent race but will be held because the community holds a annual any percent glitchless race, and it's happening tomorrow. So if you want more, you should go check that out. It's at 1 p.m. Eastern, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's gonna be a lot of people in there.
Yeah, I'll be playing in it for sure.
I'm uncertain if I'll be able to. I would like to, but not sure if I'll be around, unfortunately. We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for sharing all of that. This is going to wrap it up for us here at Do All the Things. So I do want to take another moment to thank you both, Butterlord and Morpheus, for sharing that with us. I think we got to see so much of what the game had to offer, but like I said earlier, doing as little as possible simultaneously. So definitely really enjoyed that. I also want to give a shout out to our production partner, Richard, for everything that they're doing behind the scenes right now. And then last, but certainly not least, Shasta, for trusting me to host this show in his stead. Thank you so much for having me. But don't go anywhere. Hotfix is nowhere near done for the night. We actually have another show, Parallel Universe, coming up right after the break. So stick around and we'll be back in a few minutes. In the meantime, I hope everyone has a great rest of your week and take care. That's it for us.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's fun.
I hope everybody enjoyed the run.